What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Hoffenheim 2, Tottenham 3, and Spurs are back to winning ways. A much needed 3 points. No, we're not out in Germany. No, we weren't in the studio today. We were watching the game with my grandpa, who's not doing great at the moment. So all the best wishes to him in the comment section below will be much appreciated by us and particularly by him. But yeah, we watched the game with him, and it was great to see 3 points with him as well. A strong, I say a strong team. Pretty much every senior player that we had was starting today. The only 11 players that we had left, with Mikey Moore and Will Lancashire on the bench. And I thought the first half we actually came out to play. We put on a bit of performance. I thought it was the best half of football we've actually played in a while, to be fair. And it was 2-0 at half time, but it could have been 3, could have been 4. Sonny had that chance, where he could have put it away. And Pedro Porro also had that chance where he could have put it in the back of the net. And Hoffenheim rarely tested us really in that first half. And I thought, particularly in that first half, it was kind of like men against boys. And I thought we performed really well.
Yeah, Austin did have to make a couple of saves. He definitely made one, I remember, low down to his right. But obviously, we got the goal, within 3 minutes. I think we got the first goal. Brilliant ball from Porro through to Madders. And it's a great finish and definitely what we needed going into this game, because we knew it was a crunch game. It wasn't a dead rubber by any stretch. I know kind of the fear of us being completely knocked out of this tournament isn't really there, but considering our injury crisis, getting in that top 8 is actually really, really vital for us. So if we can get into that top 8, knowing we probably have to win this game to do that, it was a really important game. We got off to the best start. And as you say, I would say for the first like half an hour, it was all Tottenham. And we were creating chance after chance. Obviously, we got the second goal as well. Really good breakaway. And I think Madders plays in Son. He gets a bit of luck. And someone thought was causing havoc down that left-hand side. I thought Hoffenheim maybe were doing what we've been kind of accused of, because they've got a bit of an injury crisis as well at the moment. I think 9 players out for them. We had 14 out going into this game. But I think Hoffenheim also have kind of like an identity clearly, and they have a way of playing, and they stuck their principles in this game. And maybe that was also their undoing coming up against us, because they were leaving just all sorts of space in their back line. They were allowing Tottenham to exploit it time after time. Son, if you give Son space, he's very good at exploiting that kind of space. And I thought we looked aggressive. It looked like we tried to win that game in the first half, the way we were playing, because we knew that in the second half we were going to start to tire. And I guess the only bad thing is we were only 2-0 up, because it could have been more. But no doubt about it, I would say for the last 5-10 minutes of that half, definitely Hoffenheim, you could see them creeping back into the game, and they had a couple of chances. And they had, I think, obviously, Austin had to make a save. They had, I remember the other ones. They obviously, I think they had a few crosses coming in, which were looking really dangerous. Kramaric was getting in the game. So going to half time, obviously, it was very positive. We had a 2 goal lead, but you got the sense that one goal, and also all of a sudden that momentum could switch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always thought that, I was saying to you there when we were watching it, like, we need to kill this game off in the first half, because you kind of expected and you knew what was going to happen, where Hoffenheim would probably grow in influence and Spurs would tire massively. And that's exactly what happened. None of the players that were good in the first half really, like Maddison, I thought really was pulling the strings in the first half, and he didn't really turn out for the second half. I thought we just looked really slow, really lethargic. We couldn't play out the back. Hoffenheim were pressing us really well, and we just couldn't seem to work a way around it, to be honest. And it gets back to 3-1 and a 2-1, and everyone's going, oh God, what is going to happen?
It was only going one way at that point, wasn't it?
Exactly. You just kind of, everyone felt, me and you felt watching it, and along with Grandpa saying, which way, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. I said to you as well, this has got 2-2 written all over it. But up steps Captain Fantastic Son Heung-min. That's his best goal and best finish that we've seen for a while. And, in the last couple of games, he hasn't had his shooting boots on. He's missed some gilt-edged chances, but he stepped up when we really needed him today.
And what a massive moment, because you consider we were under the cosh in that second half, where it looks like the game was only going to go one way. They were kind of pressing us man to man. As you said, we really couldn't get out of our own half really throughout that whole period before Son scored. He scored in the 77th minute. So it really was one-way traffic up until then. And Son scored, which was a really clinical finish, by the way, which actually was, I'm looking at the stats, our only shot of the second half.
Yeah.
At all, on or off target.
Yeah.
So literally, if he hadn't scored that, I think we might have even gone to lose the game, to be honest, if he didn't score that, because you never know, they might have got one goal earlier if they still got that momentum, and obviously they did get a goal late on, a consolation it turned out to be. But obviously the last 5 minutes, it was panic stations for Tottenham for sure, and we were all over the place. Look, we just had to we basically had to drag ourselves over the line in this one. You can see we were literally running on empty. I thought that second half, Decky, I thought he was doing some really good stuff in the first half, and then he had his moments in the second half. But again, it feels like in the first half he's got that energy to get himself up the pitch and then like do some like great work. And then the second half he was doing some really good work, but it was happening way too deep. And then he couldn't get further enough into their half to really hurt them. And basically, I agree. I thought the game, I wouldn't say turned, but definitely Mikey Moore, when he came on, he just gave us a little bit extra impetus we needed, that little bit of energy in their half to really make use of any moments we were having. And I thought it was a really bright cameo again from Mikey Moore. Obviously, he got his assist, and he came from one of the very few moments actually in that second half we were able to win the ball high up in the middle of the park, and that was Bentancur who did it. Plays the ball quickly to Mikey into Son, and as you say, clinical finish, bottom left corner, and that's obviously a finish we've been accustomed to seeing with Sonny. But as you say, this season we haven't seen it anywhere near enough. He's been in that exact position a few times in recent weeks, and he's kind of dragged his shot, or kind of hasn't gone where it should be going, which is right into that corner. But on this occasion, very big moment, and it's a clutch moment really in the game, because that obviously won us the game for sure.
Yeah.
And I know on paper it's a goal that takes from 2-1 to 3-1. You can say, is it a meaningful goal? But if you look at the context of the game, it was a very, very meaningful moment. And we definitely don't win that game if he doesn't score that.
It's a goal that killed the game, and that's what we were calling for pretty much ever since we scored that second goal. A third goal is going to kill this game, and that goal, it did kill the game at that moment in time, but they did get a goal. And then
for 10 minutes they killed it, and then they got a goal. It was out of nothing really, that goal, but
squeaky bum time towards the end. But I think from the minute the second half started till Son scored, like, we were really under the cosh, and then that kind of alleviated the fears and alleviated the pressure a little bit. So you got to say a massive big up to Son Heung-min, because I've been saying it, this guy has been running to the ground at the moment. He's playing so many minutes, and he came out clutch for us today. So you got to give him a lot of credit. Captain's moment, and a Son Heung-min moment, which, again, like we've been accustomed to so many times over the years. I do want to say though, like, a lot of the narrative is going to be like Spurs played well in the first half and we tried to chuck it away in the second half, but I feel like the players gave everything that they could on the pitch today. I really feel like that, because we've talked about Pedro Porro, we've talked about Kulusevski, we've talked about Son, we've talked about how much they're being run into the ground and how they're running on empty at the moment, and how they're giving as much as they can. And I think you clearly saw that even in the second half when Hoffenheim were putting on us. You could just see the players were just giving everything that they could. They really could. Ben Davis was a warrior at the back when Hoffenheim were putting it on us. Bentancur put in a really good display as well. Really good to see him back in the side. And I thought first half, I think he actually started the move for both the goals that we did score. So there were some really good performances on the pitch, but I want to give a lot of credit to the players today, because these same players need to play more or less week in, week out, no rest. Only teenagers on the bench today. We didn't have many options, and they gave everything they could, and we got the 3 points, and that was the main thing today.